was having a problem that it's like trying to explain to somebody, you've got a headache,
Right.
Well, there are some people that kill themselves over headaches.
Right.
Mercury Morris was a star of the 1970s. His career, however, was tragically cut short, not just by a series of injuries, but also by a harrowing car accident. Post-retirement, Morris's life took a dark turn. Once a celebrated athlete, he became embroiled in a scandalous cocaine trafficking controversy. Eugene Edward Mercury Morris was a famous American football player, known for being a running back and kick returner. He spent most of his 8-year career with the Miami Dolphins, starting in the AFL in 1969 and continuing in the AFC after the 1970 NFL merger. Later in life, Morris was convicted of drug trafficking. But before we get into his scandal, make sure to subscribe. In 1982, Morris was convicted of cocaine trafficking and was given a 20-year prison sentence with a mandatory 15-year term. However, on March 6, 1986, the Florida Supreme Court overturned his conviction. They found that evidence he had provided to support his entrapment defense had been wrongly dismissed as hearsay. This mistake led to the court granting him a new trial. Morris managed to reach a plea deal with the prosecutor, which allowed for his release from prison on May 23, 1986, after serving 3 years. Following his release, Morris took part in an anti-cocaine public service announcement. In this PSA, he spoke about his experiences in prison, hoping to warn others about the dangers of drug involvement. His early years were the foundation of his greatness, shaping him into an extraordinary player. Born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Morris grew up in the northwestern suburbs and attended Avonworth High School. He then went on to West Texas State University, now known as West Texas A&M University, where he played from 1965 to 1969. During his college years, Morris made a big impact. In 1967 and 1968, he earned All-American honors as a tailback for the Buffaloes. In 1967, Morris was a standout, finishing second in the nation in rushing yards with 1,274, just behind O.J. Simpson of USC. The following year, Morris had an incredible season. He set several collegiate records, including rushing yards in a single game with 340, rushing yards in a single season with 1,571, and rushing yards over a 3-year college career with 3,388. Interestingly, Simpson broke Morris's single-season rushing record just a week later, and Morris's 3-season rushing record was surpassed 2 years later by Don McCauley. After finishing college, Morris was selected in the 3rd round of the 1969 AFL-NFL Common Draft by the Miami Dolphins of the AFL. His college achievements laid a strong foundation for his professional career, showcasing the talent and skill that would make him a notable player in the NFL. His career was brilliant, but it was tragically cut short by a series of relentless injuries. Morris was exceptional as both a running back and a kick returner. He spent most of his career with the Miami Dolphins. From 1969 to 1971, he backed up Jim Keek at halfback and was the team's main kickoff return man. In his rookie year in 1969, Morris made quite an impact. He averaged 26.4 yards per kickoff return, leading the AFL with 43 kickoff returns and 1,136 kickoff return yards. These impressive numbers would have also been the highest in the NFL. His 105-yard return was the longest in the AFL that season, and he was also one of the top punt returners in the league. In 1970, Morris faced some challenges with a leg injury that kept him off the field for a while. Despite this setback, he still managed to achieve an incredible 6.8 yards per carry average on 60 runs, the highest in the league among players with at least 50 runs. His ability to perform at such a high level, even with injuries, showcased his remarkable talent and determination. In 1971, even though Morris was frustrated with his limited playing time as a backup halfback, he played a crucial role in helping the Dolphins reach their first Super Bowl, Super Bowl VI. He led the AFC with an impressive 28.2-yard kickoff return average. During the regular season, Morris made the most of his opportunities whenever he got the chance to run the ball. He gained 315 rushing yards on just 57 carries, averaging an impressive 5.5 yards per carry. This average would have led the NFL if he had enough carries to qualify. That year, Morris's outstanding performance earned him his first Pro Bowl selection, not only as a kick returner, but also as a running back in the game. Despite the challenges and his desire for more playing time, Morris's contributions were vital to the Dolphins' success. During the 1972 and 1973 seasons, Morris earned Super Bowl rings in both Super Bowl VII and Super Bowl VIII. He was also selected for the Pro Bowl in both years, showcasing his consistent performance and talent. In 1972, Morris shared the halfback position with Jim Keeck. Although he participated in slightly fewer plays than Keeck, he had more carries as a running back. That year, Morris ran for exactly 1,000 yards on 190 carries, making history with his teammate Larry Csonka as the first 1,000-yard tandem in NFL history. Initially, it was believed that Morris had finished the season with 991 yards. However, the Dolphins' management asked the league to review a play where Morris fumbled a lateral. Upon review, he was awarded the 9 yards previously recorded as lost on that play, officially giving him 1,000 yards for the season. In addition to reaching this milestone, Morris led the NFL with 12 rushing touchdowns in 1972. His impressive 5.3 yards per carry average was the third highest in the league. By 1973, Morris had claimed the starting halfback position and had a standout season. Despite battling a neck injury toward the end of the year, he rushed for 954 yards on 149 carries. His impressive 6.4 yards per carry was the highest in the NFL for that season, showcasing his exceptional running ability. Additionally, Morris finished third in the NFL for rushing touchdowns, further demonstrating his effectiveness and skill on the field. Morris had a standout performance in several crucial playoff games that helped lead the Miami Dolphins to their 2 Super Bowl victories. In the 1972 playoffs, he was a key player, leading the Dolphins in rushing during both the divisional playoff game against Cleveland and the AFC Championship game against Pittsburgh. He rushed for 72 yards against Cleveland and 76 yards against Pittsburgh. The following year, in 1973, Morris continued his impressive playoff performance. He once again led the Dolphins in rushing during the divisional playoff game against Cincinnati, where he gained 106 yards. He followed that up with another strong showing in the AFC Championship game against Oakland, rushing for 86 yards. Morris continued his football career with the Dolphins through 1974 and 1975, but his time with the team was marred by injuries. In 1974, a knee injury he sustained during the preseason limited him to just 5 regular season games. He missed the season opener, returned for the second game, but then re-injured his knee in the third game. Although he played a few more games later in the season, he also suffered a neck injury and re-injured his knee, which effectively ended his season. In 1975, despite sharing the halfback position with Benny Malone, Morris had a strong season, leading the Dolphins in rushing yards with 875. Before the 1976 season, Morris was traded to the San Diego Chargers. He played that season, rushing for 256 yards on 50 carries. After the season ended, he decided to retire from football. His decision was influenced by ongoing issues from a neck injury he had sustained in a 1973 game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which had been aggravated by a car accident. During his 8-year NFL career, Morris made a significant impact. He finished in the top 5 in rushing touchdowns twice and in total touchdowns once. His career average of 5.1 yards per carry was among the best in NFL history, placing him third all-time among all players and first among halfbacks. Only Jim Brown and Marion Motley had higher averages. As of 2017, Morris ranked 6th all-time in rushing yards per carry. His career kickoff return average of 26.5 yards also stood out. Among players with at least 100 returns, he was in the top 20 all-time and was in the top 10 when he retired. By 2017, he was ranked 18th. After retiring from football, Morris transitioned into a career as a motivational speaker, sharing his experiences and inspiring others. That is it for this one. But if you happen to like NFL Legends, make sure to check out our latest videos on our channel NFL Icons. I'm sure you will love it.